Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Nerve Guys podcast, where we discuss movement from the point of view of the brain. My name's James, and today we're going to be talking about my journey with the 5 a.m. club. So that's kind of the movement where people are starting to wake up at 5 a.m. and there's loads of sort of purported benefits of it. So today I want to talk about what the benefits people kind of say are, and then I want to talk about my journey, because I did this for kind of a year, waking up at 5, and before that I'd been sort of religiously waking up at 6 a.m. With the same sort of intent in mind. So I'm going to share my thoughts on kind of what happened, whether I think it's something that's worth trying or not. So yeah, let's get into it. But before we do, just like always, this episode is brought to you by the Neuroband, the wearable vision and balance training tool to help develop posture, focus, and coordination. I will talk about that a little bit more at the end. All right, but now 5 a.m. starts. Who likes them? Who hates them? So what are the benefits of waking yourself up at 5 a.m.? The main ones that people kind of mention are, number one, that getting yourself out of bed before everybody else is out of bed allows you to be really productive and efficient with your time. You can get quite a lot done, and then when everybody wakes up, and that's when productivity always tends to dwindle. People are tempting you with all sorts of things. People are distracting you, interrupting you, all of that. If you've got all your work done before this time, then actually it doesn't really matter what kind of distractions and interruptions people throw at you. If you know that you've got whatever the most important bit of the day was, then you're sort of free to just go with the flow for the rest of the day. Other benefits are that in terms of that productivity versus vice and temptation, the unhealthy stuff in life generally doesn't happen in the morning. Most of the time, all the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, that's all happening in the evening time. That's all happening late at night. The later you kind of go into the early hours of the morning, the more likely it is that the other people that are awake with you are up to all sorts of things that aren't good for your productivity, aren't good for your health in the long run, and it's more about personal pleasure rather than personal gain. Those two are, I guess, two sides of the same coin. Then let's go for actual sort of health benefits. So waking up before the sun is potentially really beneficial. If you can wake yourself up and then during the sunrise actually get outside and see the sun come up, that can do really great things for regulating your body clock. So if you're seeing daylight, your brain starts to adjust your circadian rhythm. That makes it more likely that at the appropriate time at night that you're actually going to start getting tired, and then it's going to be much more likely that you actually get some good restful sleep. So in terms of a health benefit, that's probably the biggest one. Outside of it, the productivity stuff is really the kind of main thing. So I guess now I'll talk through my journey with this sort of stuff. So the first time I got into pretty much my entire life, I woke up at the latest possible time that I could get away with, so that I could go and get whatever I needed to, go to work, go to school, whatever, get that done, and then have as much of the evening as I could possibly stretch out in order to get things done. And I swapped it around, not really with productivity in mind, but more with I think most of my life I kind of dealt with sort of unhealthy behaviors and addictions and things like that. And one of the things that I found that really sort of helped me was when I got into Rubik's Cubes. So the previous stuff with like gymnastics and circus and music, I didn't really find that helped massively. Rubik's Cube, for some reason, something clicked with that where I enjoyed it, but I also had this like real strong drive that I wanted to get better at this. And because of that, it did a few things. So number one, it made me stop biting my nails as much. I used to bite my nails so much that like I would just be in constant pain, like constant stinging pain in my fingers. And once I got into Rubik's cubing, actually I stopped biting my nails as much. I was still biting them constantly, but the second we would get close to like that pain, something in my brain just switched to go, hey, no, we don't want to do this. And so that was really beneficial. And then the second thing was, because I wanted to get better at it, I decided, all right, well, let's not leave this till the evening when, if other people decide to make plans, or if I, decide to have a beer or something, that my performance is going to be affected. Let's actually try and wake up an hour earlier than I need to, so I get a good hour of just being able to do this stuff. And, maybe it was a little bit about productivity, but you could call that productivity, but it was more about the fun of like, here's the thing I really actually want to be doing. So when I wake up and I've done that, by the rest of the day just feels like, oh, cool, well, I got to go to work. Work sucks, but you know what? I got to do my hour of stuff at the start, and had me kind of, for the first time, actually looking forward to like, okay, once I get to the end of the day, I'm looking forward to actually sleeping so that I can get up earlier to go and do this. So most of the time I was waking up at about 6 a.m. usually, so that I could get that hour in before having to, do all the usual morning stuff and get out to go to work. And that kind of served me pretty well. I really enjoyed that. And then maybe a year ago, 2 years ago now, I decided from my birthday, for 1 year, I was going to just try 5 a.m. starts. So I've been watching videos of people, oh yeah, this is so good, it's great for your health, great for everything. So I would start to get up at 5 a.m. And I guess maybe it was just because my schedule had changed with COVID, but for some reason the difference between waking up at 6 a.m. and just getting that 1 hour of training in, waking up at 5 a.m. when suddenly most of my work was done from home, just felt like I almost had a full day of training before I started to do any work. And I think I just started to stretch it out. So at one stage, I was doing Rubik's Cube training and like my own personal sort of movement stuff from about 5 a.m. till noon. So yeah, that's almost a full work day. And then I would go from noon till about 6 or 7, so like an equally long part with my actual work. And then got like an hour or two to kind of chill. And then the ideal would have been to go to bed at 9, but when you're in a bigger unit, you don't always get to dictate the bedtime. So like 10 was a bit more common. So my kind of thoughts on the kind of 5 a.m. start was that, yeah, it was pretty cool, pretty productive, but I really suffered with my sleep. And when it came to like my Rubik's Cube training, turns out sleep is pretty important. If I can't move my bedtime to earlier, then the 5 a.m. side had to go. And that was really what sort of killed it for me. So is waking up at 5 a.m. better for like productivity or just getting fun out of your system before you start your day? I think it's a really cool idea. And I think, if you're willing to try it, it's fun to challenge yourself to do something that, waking up still was awful. And so it's fun to kind of challenge yourself in that kind of capacity and see, can you do it? But set yourself an end date as well, because one of the things I find when people like set themselves these sort of discipline challenges, it's fine to know that you can do these things, but once you know that about yourself, you don't necessarily need to keep doing it. The people who are kind of like peddling discipline, as this is like, you just need to show up and have a hard time every single day of your life, you don't really. There's a certain level of like difficulty that brings success in your life and that like pushes you further, but pushing past that, there's really not that much benefit to it. So like, choose a hard thing, always choose an end for that hard thing. You can always choose another hard thing to do afterwards, but I don't think your discipline gets so much better by doing something that you think sucks for way longer than you need to. If you try to do these like 5 a.m. starts and you're like, oh, this actually really works for me, then yeah, cool, then keep going. But yeah, that's my only kind of thing, is have an ending to it. Like I should have good ending to this episode. Yeah, that's my thoughts, my journey on 5 a.m. starts. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any thoughts or ideas on that. If you are enjoying these episodes and you want to support the podcast, check out the Neuroband by Rewire Neurodynamics. That's not a sponsor. That's my very own company, so I'm not getting paid for this unless you go and buy one. But I think you'll really benefit from it. It's introduction to vision and balance training so that you can better integrate your brain for movement. So there's a link to that in the comments. Check it out. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.